This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. 3, 2, 1. Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. How you doing, Dominic?
Crudy, I'm fantastic. Evan on the board, our fair audience. Happy Friday Eve to us all. Got a big show today. Can't wait to get to it, man.
You're exuberant.
I am. It's very exciting. I'm very happy today because, of course, Donald Trump testifies tomorrow. How many times do you think Trump tomorrow in testimony for what? Tish James at the New York Attorney General, then the fraud case? How many times do you think Trump will say, I plead the fifth?
I don't remember.
Time? Every time. So he's not sleeping too well tonight, I would imagine. And that makes me just a little giddy.
The fact that his former wife, his ex-wife, Ivana Trump, she died today, apparently aged, 73? Mm-hmm. The mother of Don Jr. and Eric and Ivanka. She must be so proud. Anyways, she passed today. Do you think that will tear at his conscience over?
Don't you have to have a conscience to have one be born?
Didn't he?
And I heard cardiac arrest for the former Mrs. Trump. And I can't help but think that maybe she died of a broken heart because her kids are a bunch of D-bags.
Could be.
Just saying.
Now, Trump left Ivana Trump, who apparently, by all accounts, was a very capable woman. And Trump didn't like that.
No.
So he moved on to mother of Tiffany, Marla Maples, right? She was the mistress and then became the wife. So then he married Marla Maples. She was a Georgia peach. And, don't hear much from Tiffany. I think she's a college grad now. And then Melania. And talked about not hearing a lot. Melania, she's been kind of scarce. I mean, I'm sure Trump bumps into her every 3 weeks or so, but...
I don't care, do you?
No. So condolences to the Trump kids? Question mark? I mean, there's no good time in life to lose one's mother.
No doubt.
Couldn't it happen to a nicer family? What are you thinking, Dom? I'm not sure what that expression
I think I said it, man. I don't care. Do you? I mean, I feel bad for Ivana, as mentioned. She seems like a fine enough woman, and sucks to have to die. And at 73, it's a shame that it couldn't have been her ex instead of her. But it is what it is. People come and go all the time.
Guess who else is coming and going? Steve Bannon going to trial on Monday.
What? He asked the judge twice, please, can I delay it on Monday? And then yesterday, please, can I delay it? No, you may not.
You know why? Because you got to ask 3 times, Dom.
Is that the rule?
Candyman. Or Beetlejuice.
Where's Dr. Evil's secret lair?
Got to ask it 3 times. We're going to talk about lots of topics today, and maybe some big news in hour 2, Dom. Depends on our pal Bruce Murphy over in urban Milwaukee. We'll see how the fine journalist, I understand he's working on a piece, could be big news, could affect all of you, our fair listeners. But Dom, let's start with a story. I got to tell you, my kids, my teenagers, they use this vocabulary, and I'm going to use it today. They say sometimes things are sketchy or kind of sketch. Well, you know what's kind of sketch? The reporting at The Intercept and now at other places that the Secret Service agents deleted their text messages from January 5th and January 6th, and the deletions came after they were requested. That
seems extremely sketchy.
A little sketchy. A little sketchy. Dom, let's start with The Intercept today. What do you say, man? Don't always start there, but...
No, I like The Intercept. Let's do it, man.
Secret Service deleted January 6th text messages after oversight officials requested them. A letter given to the January 6th committee says the erasure took place shortly after Oversight officials requested the agency's electronic communications. Ken Klippenstein, the reporter thereof. The Secret Service erased text messages from January 5th and 6th, according to a letter given to the January 6th committee and reviewed by The Intercept. The letter was originally sent by the Department of Homeland Security, Office of Inspector General, to the House and Senate Homeland Security committees. Though the Secret Service maintains, and listen closely, wait for this one, Dom. I mean, I think my teenager would come up with a better excuse than this. This one's kind of sketch, but listen closely. Though the Secret Service maintains that the text messages were lost as a result of device replacement program. So, we're update the cell phones and, look, all the text messages are gone from January 5th and 6th.
The dog ate their homework? I mean, really? Really? I mean, it sounds like the Blues Brothers when Belushi's talking to Carrie Fisher. I lost my homework. I didn't have any money for cab fare. Are you really? The result, messages were lost as a result of a device replacement program. Yeah, they took the devices and threw them in the trash.
Did they clean them with the cloth, Tom?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Wipe the hard drive.
The letter says the erasure took place shortly after oversight officials requested the agency's electronic communications. And shocker, Dom, the Secret Service did not respond for comment. The Secret Service has emerged as a key player in the explosive congressional hearings on the former president, Trump, role in the storming of the Capitol on January 6th in an attempt to prevent the 2020 election results from being certified. That day, then Vice President Mike Pence, we've talked about this. That day, then Vice President Mike Pence was at the Capitol to certify the results. When rioters entered the building, the Secret Service tried to whisk Pence away from the scene. I'm not getting in that car. Right? Jamie Raskin brought note to this statement. I'm not getting in the car, Pence reportedly told the Secret Service detail on January 6th. If I get in the vehicle, you guys are taken off. Had Pence entered the vice presidential limo, he would have been taken to a secure location where he would have been unable to certify the presidential election results, plunging the U.S. into uncharted waters. One more quote here, Tom. People need to understand that if Pence had listened to the Secret Service and fled the Capitol, this could have turned out a whole lot worse, a congressional official, not authorized to speak publicly, told The Intercept. It could have been a successful coup, not just an attempted coup.
Cody, as you mentioned, Rep. Jamie Raskin, a member of the J6 committee, called Pence's terse refusal, "I'm not getting in the car," the, quote, 6 most chilling words of this entire thing I've seen so far. But the Office of Inspector General's letter suggests key evidence in the form of the Secret Service electronic communication may never see the light of day. The Department of Homeland Security, Secret Service's parent agency, is subject to oversight of the DHS Office of Inspector General, which had requested records of electronic communications from the Secret Service between January 5th and 6th of 2021 before being informed that they'd been erased. It is unclear from the letter whether all the messages were deleted or just some. DHS officials have also pushed back on the OIG's records request by arguing that the records must first undergo review by DHS attorneys, which has delayed the process and left unclear if the Secret Service records would ever be produced, according to the letter. Asked about the matter, DHS OIG spokesman told The Intercept, "To preserve the integrity of our work and to protect our independence, we do not discuss our ongoing reviews or our communications with Congress." A top Secret Service official allegedly involved in the attempt to spirit away Pence on January 6th remains in a leadership position at the agency. Tony Ornato, remember that name? A Secret Service agent whom Trump made the unprecedented decision to appoint as his deputy White House chief of staff, reportedly informed Pence's national security advisor Keith Kellogg on January 6th that agents would relocate the vice president to Joint Base Andrews. "You can't do that, Tony," Kellogg reportedly told Ornato. "Leave him where he is at. He's got a job to do. I know you guys too well. You'll fly him to Alaska if you have the chance. Don't do it." Ornato has denied the account. And today, Crudy, Ornato serves as the assistant director at the Secret Service's Office of Training. So, Tony,
Tony does it?
Is that how you do it? Tony does it? When you get the request is, have a, what do they call it? What was the terminology they used, Crudy? A device replacement program. Sorry.
Well, let's not forget the testimony of Cassidy Hutchinson was contradicted by Tony Ornato. And that's not Tony Orlando and Dawn. It's a different guy. But Tony Ornato is the same Trump sycophant, reportedly, who's now been accused of what? Denying things like 3 different ways. And he's been contradicted in at least 2 of those cases.
And he continues to what? Serve as the assistant director of at the Office of Training.
He's got a credibility issue. I mean,
you think?
I do.
Anybody, everybody, every one of those Secret Service agents who had anything to do with deleting or engaging in the replacement program should all be under oath, under question, and perhaps fired. Agencies, especially those involved in national security, often use the sensitivity of their work to sidestep oversight, stymieing the work of the OIG. It's not uncommon for inspector generals, particularly effective ones, to face institutional resistance during the course of investigations. Tasked with rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse, inspector general's oversight responsibilities are not always welcome. Yeah, you think? Don't you think it'd be, somewhat relative, somewhat important to know what the Secret Service was thinking and doing? I'm saying I need to see it, but somebody needs to see it. Somebody needs to put the pieces together. That is certainly part of the puzzle, especially when you got a guy like Ornato, who Trump brought into his inner circle with the credibility problem now leading up, the training office? Oh, my God.
Seems a little sketch to me. It's a little sketch. Folks, we're the Devil's Advocates. Never sketchy, often entertaining. We just ask you. Great show or greatest show ever? Come back with us. You can always be a part. They're always better when you participate. 844-967-2789. And I want to talk about Bannon next. I think Bannon has got some real nuggets to offer, Dom.
I believe so.
And Lordy, I think we got the tapes we're going to play for you, our fair audience. Come back. It's a Thursday. Wish it was a Friday. We'll get there soon. More Devils. We'll be right back.
Someone stole my car. There was an earthquake. A terrible flood. Locust. It wasn't my fault, I swear to God.
I may never have met you. We don't go way back. Maybe we wouldn't even be friends if we did. But when you wear a mask, you have my respect. Because your mask doesn't protect you. It protects me. I wear my mask to protect you. Mask up, America.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
President Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election.
Collectively, Republicans got 1.661 million votes, 51,000 more votes than Trump got.
He exhausted his cases. He exhausted the court challenges.
All the Republicans voted for Trump the way they voted for the Assembly candidates. He would have won.
It was not rigged. It was not stolen. Donald Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election. It's really clear.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org.
The radio show your mother warned you about.
Actual tyranny of a dictator. Dictator's going to dictate Putin. And what did Trump do? Trump kneeled to the man. Embarrassing Republicans. And you're still with the guy? This is your front runner in 2024? Are you even smoking some of Mike Lindell's crack? What are you thinking?
They're the GCCCP. We are the Devil's Advocates.
Live weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
This is how we do every day. We be grinding. And if you want to come and text us.
If you love them enough to turn off your music and pretend like their music is your music.
This is Mommy's jam.
Then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Let's play it again.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
60% of the time, they're right every time. The Devil's Advocates.
Still the night, I hear the wolf now, honey.
sniffing around your blood.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. It's the 420 segment. Light them if you got them. Call us on the phones, 844-967-2789.
Dominic, we're getting to the Bannon sound momentarily, but this intriguing headline you posted at the Devil's Advocates radio Facebook page. Conservative group finds, and here's the quote, absolutely no evidence of widespread fraud in 2020 election. Now, we've seen similar headlines out of the great state of Wisconsin. Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, they did their own impartial review, apparently, but they came up with the very same conclusion we've said since day one. There wasn't fraud. Joe Biden's the president. He won the state of Wisconsin. Let's see what these prominent conservatives have to say, Dom. 8. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Prominent conservatives released a 72-page report. Didn't read the report. Got to be honest, folks.
We're not going to count 72 either.
Refuting claims of election fraud in the 2020 presidential election in dozens of unsuccessful cases brought forth by former President Trump and his allies. The group, which includes former federal judges, Republican senators, and Republican-appointed officials, said they reviewed all 64 court cases Trump and his allies initiated challenging the election outcome, saying they had reached an unequivocal conclusion that the claims were unsupported by evidence.
Evidence? You don't need evidence. Just make the claim. I mean, this is like the battle in the White House the night before Trump tweeted out the call to arms, right? All Cipollone was asking, where's the evidence? Where's the evidence? Oh, says the Kraken. I can't believe you're asking me that. You should know.
Here is what the 8 prominent conservatives said. We conclude that Donald Trump and his supporters had their day in court. Actually, several of them, right? Like 64?
64?
And failed to produce substantive evidence to make their case. The 8 conservatives repeatedly condemned the election fraud claims, but said they have not changed their allegiance to the Democratic Party and have no ill will towards Trump nor his supporters. The group consists of former senators John Danforth, Republican from, I think that's Missouri, longtime Republican lawyer Benjamin Ginsburg, I've heard of him, former federal judge Thomas Griffith, David Hopp, Chief of Staff to former House Speaker Paul Ryan, former Judge J. Michael Ludwig, he gave some testimony, didn't he, for the January 6th committee, former federal Judge Michael McConnell, Theodore Olson, he was the former Solicitor General under President W. Bush, and former Senator Gordon Smith, Republican from Oregon.
All rhinos are corrupt.
One more quote. We urge our fellow conservatives to cease obsessing over the results of the 2020 election and to focus instead on presenting candidates and ideas that offer a positive vision for overcoming our current difficulties and bringing greater peace, prosperity, and liberty to our nation. Well, that would sound like a governing platform, and the Republicans, as near as I can tell, Dom, have long since abandoned governing.
Curdy the Hill has reached out to a Trump spokesman for comment. The group's report includes an analysis of the claims in each court case challenging the election results in 6 swing states Biden narrowly won in 2020: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The cases included unfounded widespread claims of improperly counted ballots, rigged voting machines, mail-in ballot irregularities, ineligible voters who cast ballots, and officials who blocked access for observers in polling places. The claims have also been a focus of numerous investigations, including the House Select Committees investigating the January 6th riot and a criminal investigation led by Fulton County GA District Attorney. 2 members of the group, Ginsburg and Ludwig, have testified publicly, as Curdy mentioned, to the House panel. Ludwig served as an informal advisor to then Vice President Mike Pence in the lead up to January 6th, telling Pence he could not constitutionally overturn the Electoral College votes. The 8 conservatives acknowledged the election administration was not perfect Thursday, noting a relatively small number of cases where authorities found irregularities. Quote, but there is absolutely no evidence of fraud in the 2020 presidential election on the magnitude necessary to shift the result in any state, let alone the nation as a whole. In fact, there was no fraud that changed the outcome in even a single precinct. It is wrong and bad for our country for people to propagate baseless claims that President Biden's election was not legitimate. Beyond the court cases, the conservatives' report also discussed post-election reviews conducted outside of the legal system by 6 swing states, all of which the group said, also failed to support Trump's allegations. In one example, the group noted the Arizona State Senate's review of Maricopa County election results, which was conducted by a private firm, the Cyber Ninjas. The firm's final analysis found 99 additional votes for Biden and 261 fewer votes for Trump, according to the report. The Cyber Ninjas later shut down after a judge ordered it to pay $50,000 a day in fines until it turned over public records to the Arizona Republic. In another example, the conservatives referenced a full manual recount of Georgia ballots by Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, which confirmed Biden's victory in the state. Trump pressured him in a now infamous call to find enough votes to reverse Biden's victory in the state. Their final quote: "There is no principle of our republic more fundamental than the right of the people to elect our leaders and for their votes to be counted accurately. Efforts to thwart the people's choice are deeply unpatriotic and undemocratic."
You think? So the Wisconsin Institute of Law and Liberty came to a similar conclusion here in the state of Wisconsin. But what happened? The Wisconsin Supreme Court, and there are three very partisans, one swing jurist, also conservative, but the three very partisans, they basically said, just short of, let's throw the Electoral College vote to Donald Trump. I mean, I've joked in the past, Trump effectively lost the state of Wisconsin by one vote. Brian Hagedorn, one Supreme Court justice, because the other three conservatives were more than willing to take up the cause. And although Trump was, 63-1 and really more like 0 for 64, you know what I mean? Yeah. In the court of law, there was one court that was damn near willing to hear the case and maybe uphold it, throw it to the state legislature. Well, the very corrupted Wisconsin Supreme Court, or at least the very corrupted three Republican representatives thereof, Rebecca Bradley, not the good one, Patience Rogensack, and Annette Ziegler.
Isn't one of them retiring?
Rogensack. She is the Chief Justice. She is retiring, not seeking re-election. April of 2023 will determine the balance of the court, and we will get to pick the next Supreme Court Justice. You and I, Tom, will pick for the people.
All right.
Come back, more devils.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Oh, devil radio. Good thing I brought my horns.
Hi, I'm a pleasant voice reminding you to enable Devil Radio before playing Devil Radio. First, you have to enable Devil Radio, which should be natural to Wisconsinites. Just say, Alexa, enable Devil Radio. Then firmly and confidently say, Alexa, play Devil Radio. This should conjure the Devil Radio app, available at the App Store.
Brian, what the heck are you doing?
I'm making a patio.
When I told you it was patio season, I didn't mean we had to make one of our own.
But I got all this grout all over me now.
Yeah, but I meant we need to go see Hawk at the all-new Jade Monkey on Cottage Grove Road. They've got an awesome patio, and it's the perfect place to stop for a cocktail after the show.
Jade Monkey has a patio? Why don't we go there?
Exactly. Now put down those power tools and let's go grab a drink.
It's all right. I was done anyway.
Suck down drinks so we don't have to suck.
I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. The Women's Health Protection Act, which codifies a woman's right to an abortion, is up for a vote tomorrow in the House. Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Voting for a second time on this legislation to make the protections of Roe v. Wade the law of the land.
The Senate twice this year failed to pass the bill. The Food and Drug Administration has completed its inspection of the overseas plant where the monkeypox vaccines are made. More than 1 million doses have been contracted for, and thousands more are expected soon in the U.S. Roughly 1,000 cases have been reported. That's thought to be an undercount, as testing is just now getting underway. Donald Trump's first wife, Ivana Trump, has died. The former president announcing her death on social media, writing she was a wonderful, beautiful, and amazing woman who led a great and inspirational life. Ivana Trump was the mother of Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump. She was 73. I'm Tim McGuire.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
For Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines. On Wednesday, a Dane County Circuit Court judge ordered Frederick Prenn's digital devices to be turned over for a forensic search in a lawsuit for open records into Prenn's communications surrounding his decision to remain in his seat on the state's Natural Resources Board. Prenn's term ended May 1st, 2021, but he has refused to step down because his replacement has not been confirmed by the Republican-led state Senate, which is out of session until next year. The search will go from June 29th, 2020 through June 29th, 2021, and the search will include previously deleted messages if they can be recovered. Through other lawsuits, it has been discovered Prenn is coordinating with lobbyists and staff of elected officials. Sunny skies expected today with light and variable winds and a high of 81 degrees. Partly cloudy skies expected this evening with an 80% chance for rain and an overnight low of 62 degrees. You're listening to Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM.
The Devil's Advocates. So relevant, they have 1 foot in tomorrow.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show. Getting it right like 63% of the time, Dom. I am absolutely right on this point. We've argued extensively on the point. I have reporting from the Daily News. Former President Donald Trump suggested in a new interview that he has decided to run for president again in 2024 and is only considering when to launch his campaign. My big decision will be whether I go before or after
the indictment. Oh, I'm sorry, the midterm.
That's clever, though. Trump told New York Magazine in an interview published Thursday, asked flat out if he will run for the White House. Trump teased that he has already made that decision. Another new report in the Washington Post says that Trump will jump into the race in September to rally his supporters before the midterm elections, in which Republicans hope to retake control of Congress. One advisor put the odds at better than 2-1 that Trump announces his campaign before the midterms. Trump may believe that sooner he starts actively campaigning, the easier it will be to head off potential rivals within the GOP. Think Ron DeSantis. Trump said, I think a lot of people would not even run if I do, because if you look at the polls, they don't even register. So Trump thinks he's the front runner. And I also saw it other publications. He sees it as a get out of jail free card. He thinks if he runs, he's going to somehow pardon himself or stay ahead of the law. And
does that make any sense to you, Crudy? I mean, he would have to run and win and stay out of jail before then, and then what? Be an indicted person in the White House?
Pardon himself.
You think that he would pardon himself? All these things have to happen. So here's the deal: when you run, that doesn't give you any privilege whatsoever.
Gotcha.
Even when you win, it does not give you any privilege whatsoever.
Not even over Steve Bannon, because he apparently waived the privilege over Bannon.
It doesn't give you the protection of the Office of Legal Counsel from the White House and their, which I would consider incorrect opinion that a sitting president cannot be indicted. So the fact that he's not a sitting president, the fact that we're years away from that happening.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yes. If that's the case, why didn't Trump just say, yes, I'm running? You know what I'm saying?
He did effectively say, yes, I'm running.
No, he didn't. He could have said yes. Why didn't Trump say yes?
Because he hasn't decided when he's making the announcement. Before.
Well, why would it matter when? If you already made, why? See, come on, man. It's the hustle, man. You understand this, right?
You
He's just
understand
trying to
he's
keep the
running for
grift
president.
alive.
The argument we've had is whether or not Trump will run. Now,
Yes, and
you
I-
might
and I've
add
said-
more asterisks and say, but he's never going to win. He's never going to be able to pardon himself. I agree with you.
Curdy, if I
But that
say
doesn't mean
I'm
he ain't
running
gonna
for
run.
president, does that mean I'm running for president? If I announced on this show
I think
that Dominic Salvi is running for president, does that mean I'm running for president?
It could. Theoretically.
Okay, but
it could.
but
If
also
you
probably
took the
not.
further
right?
steps to file as a candidate, it would. I think if he made the declaration, he would file as a candidate. He would be obligated to do so. Not that he gives a damn about the law, but it would be advantageous for him to make a legal declaration of candidacy. If he claims he's running, if he says I'm running, they'll file the paper,
And then he's running.
and then he's running. That's
And
all
then
it
he's
takes.
running. So then he runs. And then he gets indicted. And then what?
And then that plays itself
Is he still
out in
running?
courts. Sure,
Is he
is.
still running then? You still think
Absolutely.
he's running?
Oh,
You
yeah.
think he would still run,
Yes.
even with an indictment hanging over his head?
Especially with an indictment hanging over his head. Are you missing the point, man? He sees this as the get out of jail free.
If you're convicted,
Talking about
before
being
you get into
motivated
the
to
White
win a
House,
race.
man, it doesn't do you any good.
You pardon yourself, you stay out of prison. Yes, he
This is
theoretically
insanity.
could. It is insane, but that is his logic, right? That's his logic. Let's hear from his former staffer. Let's hear it from Steve Bannon. Here's the description of the last election, and this is better be cleaned up for play on the FCC regulated
you got all of them, Evan. There's a few bombs on there. All right, stand by the dump button.
Steve Bannon speaking in his War Room podcast, and this was before the election, and he predicted how Trump would react. And this is a guy that knew him closest. I mean, if Bannon was looking for a guy to go smoke meth with, he's probably going to tap out Don. Hey, what are you doing, Don? Got some time to smoke some meth? Allegedly.
Here's a little background of this. This came from Mother Jones, and here's what they say. On the evening of October 31st, 2020, Steve Bannon told a group of associates that President Donald Trump had a plan to declare victory on election night, even if he was losing. Trump. That's the point. So it's a group of people he was talking to. This was not.
So it's not the official War Room podcast. This was more of a clandestine taping of a private conversation, Don?
Apparently. Now, we do have some comments from a Bannon spokesman after we play the sound. We'll get to that as well. But so this was to a group of people, not on his podcast. All right, Evan?
Mea culpa.
What Trump's going to do is just declare victory, right? He's going to declare victory. But that doesn't mean he's the winner. He's just going to say he's the winner. The Democrats, more of our people vote early that count. Theirs voted mail. And so they're going to have a natural disadvantage, and Trump's going to take advantage of it. That's our strategy. He's going to declare himself a winner. So when you wake up Wednesday morning, it's going to be a firestorm. We're going to have Antifa crazy, the media crazy, the courts are crazy, and Trump's going to be sitting there mocking, tweeting, you lose. I'm the winner. I'm the king. And he'll be all over. He'll be going, where's Hunter? Is Hunter on a crack pipe? I mean, no, he'll be, because then it doesn't matter. Remember, here's the thing. After that, Trump never has to go to a voter again. He's going to fire Ray, the FBI director. He's going to say, you. How about that? Because he's never going to, he's done his last election. Oh, he's going to be off the chain. He's going to be crazy. Also, if Trump is losing by 10 or 11 o'clock at night, it's going to be even crazier. Because he's going to sit right there and say they stole it.
Agree.
I'm directing the Attorney General to shut down all ballot places in all 50 states. It's going to be no. He's not going out easy. If Biden's winning, Trump is going to do some crazy.
Talking about a little sketchy, Don. So the plan was in place, and Bannon describes it, and we effectively saw this plan play out in real time. We saw it play out when Trump came out and declared victory, right?
Frankly, we did win this election.
Declared victory, lost as you-know-what when Fox News declared Arizona for Joe Biden, and has been fighting the outcome of the election ever frickin' since. So it's almost like Bannon had some insight. He said, this is the plan. Not like, I hope he does this. And obviously he's bragging. telling stories for the audience. And, we occasionally do that, Dom. But it seemed like a pretty specific plan.
No doubt. Especially when the fact that Biden was up. And again, and we've talked about this, and Bannon is right in this regard. How Republicans vote and how the trends are and how Democrats vote and when those votes are counted. So this was all part of the plan. This was all to cause the chaos, to cause the concern, the false concern. And so Trump is just going to declare. Now, this was said on October 31st of 2020. Now, a little bit more from the Mother Jones. The nearly hour-long audio obtained by Mother Jones is new evidence that Trump's late-night diatribe, which came a few hours later than Bannon had anticipated, followed a pre-existing plan to lie to Americans about the election results in a bid to hold on to power. The new recording stands out for the striking candor and detail with which Bannon described a scheme to use lies to subvert democracy. Bannon also predicted that Trump's false declaration of victory would lead to widespread political violence, along with crazy efforts by Trump to stay in office. Bannon and his associates laughed about those scenarios at various points, as you just heard. In a comment sent on Wednesday, a Bannon spokesperson argued that Bannon's statements on the recording are not news. A quote, "Nothing on the recording wasn't already said on War Room or on multiple other shows like The Circus on Showtime," the spokesperson said. Bannon gave that lecture multiple times from August to November to counter Mark Elias's election integrity project. Elias is a prominent Democrat election lawyer. The spokesman also said that the J6 committee, quote, "should have the courage to have Mr. Bannon come and testify publicly about these events."
Yes, let's do that. Or throw his ass in jail. I guess the trial starts Monday, Dom. So
trial starts Monday, and looking at a couple years, maybe he can get, and that's can the Justice Department, can J6, can they put the screws to Bannon to such a degree that he ends up flipping on Trump?
No,
my take on this is that Bannon's speaking with this specificity because he talked to the president about it. Now, if that's the case, that's certainly concerning, right? And I'm not convinced, man. I mean, these are a bunch of rats to begin with. If you're looking at, and we don't know right now, the one particular case that Bannon's looking at, this contempt of Congress, has a maximum of 2 years in prison. So that's just one thing. But depending on what else is out there and what else comes through and flushes out, certainly for 2 years, maybe he wouldn't flip. If he's looking at 20, maybe he does. A follow-up article on this, I believe this is from Greg Sargent. Let's jump into this briefly. You can join us as well, 844-967-2789. Greg Sargent writing at the Washington Post. What Trump's going to do is just declare victory. We heard Bannon say that, right? He's going to declare victory, but that doesn't mean he's a winner. He's just going to say he's a winner. And this is actually true, Trump is certainly not a winner. He just says he's a winner, so he can act like he's a winner. Bannon, who played a key command center role on January 6th, said to a group of associates on October 31st, according to the audio, a few days later, Trump actually did this. He declared victory prematurely on election night, kicking off a months-long effort to cling to power, illegitimately culminating in the attack on the Capitol. On the audio, Bannon essentially gave away a crucial piece of Trump's whole corrupt scheme, but not in the way it first appears. Bannon has now opened the door to a host of new inquiries centered on this question. How premeditated a part of the coup plot was a premature declaration of victory for Trump? The answer may be that this was a more premeditated aspect of the scheme than we knew, which would deal a severe blow to Trump's last defenses. That he really believed he'd won and was innocently exercising what he thought were legal options in his response that may even increase his criminal exposure, so writes Greg Sargent. Many have noted that the audio confirms Trump intended to cast doubt on the outcome, no matter what happened with the voting. Bannon says on the audio that this would cause a firestorm, which presumably would lay the groundwork for the next stage, months of corrupt scheming to reverse the results. We already knew Trump had contemplated declaring victory on election night, no matter what. Axios reported that just before the election, Trump privately told advisors he might do this. But the Bannon audio should refocus us on this forgotten fact. Trump telegraphed exactly these intentions way back in July of 2020. Speaking to reporters, he attacked vote by mail, said the winner should be declared on election night, and insinuated that millions of mail ballots would inevitably be fraudulent. That's the whole scheme right there. Trump was vague, but he essentially told us about 3 months before 2020 election that he would declare victory on election night, even with millions of uncounted ballots outstanding, by arguing that they would be illegitimate. Now, here's why Bannon's audio is so relevant. On it, Bannon says much of the same thing, that Trump would be favored on election night because mail votes cast by Democrats would remain outstanding, and Trump would exploit this fact to declare himself the winner. And of course, Trump ended up doing exactly this. He declared victory and attacked outstanding ballots as part of an effort to steal the election from him. But part of this became the foundation of the coup architect John Eastman scheme to get Trump's vice president to illegally subvert Biden's electors and get the states to substitute new ones. So Bannon's articulation of the scheme in advance raises this question. To what degree was the premature declaration of victory discussed and agreed upon beforehand? And I would just submit an answer: to a great degree. Of course it was. It absolutely was. The question is, who's going to come up and say it and admit to it and provide the tapes, perhaps, or at least testimony under oath?
I have every reason to believe the president knew it all, knew from the beginning. He was stating it publicly in July of 2020. I mean, there's a little guilt going on. I mean, when you foreshadow your future guilt with a foreshadowing confession, I'm going to go kill a guy later. If he shoots someone on Fifth Avenue later, don't say he didn't warn us.
Right.
Come back, more Devil's Advocates. Don't say we didn't warn you. Call us, 844-96-PARTY.
Steve Bannon.
The level of stupidity is incredible.
What grows in the forest? Our imagination and our family bonds. The forest is closer than you think. Find a forest near you at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink.
What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum.
That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest, cleaning up the air we breathe.
I didn't know the trees were so amazing.
Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb.
That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does, just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
Matt from Mount World. Welcome, Matt. What do you got for us?
I don't get these people, man. All these teachers are groomers and pedophiles. We need them armed to the teeth. The only way.
Right.
I mean, is your name Jeffrey Lebowski? Because your mind is limber.
Oh,
appreciate you listening.
That's a great point, though. Yes, the teachers, they're the ones doing the indoctrination, right? The teachers are the ones that are woke. Give them guns.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi, folks. This is Kirk Bankstead of the Minocqua Brewing Company, and I'm excited to announce our new beer, AOC IPA. This IPA pays homage to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a champion of the progressive movement. AOC IPA is now available in stores throughout Wisconsin. Check our website, MinocquaBrewingCompany.com, to see which stores in your area are carrying it.
Did I get it?
Should I wait?
Is it safe? It's okay to have questions about COVID-19 vaccine. Now get the facts. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when COVID-19 vaccines are available to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
On a warm summer's eve, on a train bound for nowhere.
The Devil's Advocates, radio for the 99%.
Too tired to sleep.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. Your calls always welcome. Lightly screened by Evan at 844-967-2789.
Dom, before we get there, I got to bring your attention to PolitiFact, a Wisconsin turn on PolitiFact. And Donald Trump, the subject of this very PolitiFact. Here's what Trump reportedly said, and I know it's true. I saw it on the Truthy Social. The Wisconsin Supreme Court decision declaring ballot drop boxes illegal includes the 2020 presidential election. And according to the fine folks at PolitiFact, that is a pants-on-fire lie.
What?
A little bit here, setting the context, just in case you haven't been paying close attention. Trump is back on the hot seat with a claim linking the ballot box ruling to the 2020 election. The former president, Trump, who fell nearly 21,000 votes short of winning Wisconsin in the 2020 presidential, has never really accepted defeat in the Badger State. Not after his own recount request in Milwaukee and Dane counties actually increased Joe Biden's margin of victory. Not after a series of lawsuits failed. Not after the election results were certified. Not after the electoral votes were counted. After Biden was sworn in. Or in the face of expert after expert saying there's no evidence of widespread fraud and no way to undo the result. Well, no one tell Ram Jam either. So maybe it's no surprise that Trump now apparently wants to go back in time. On July 8, 2022, the Wisconsin State Supreme Court ruled that Wisconsin law does not permit drop boxes anywhere other than the election clerk offices, and that only state lawmakers may make new policy stating otherwise, not the Wisconsin Elections Commission, which had issued guidance, during a pandemic. Following the decision, Trump took to the social media platform Truthy Social and Telegram to declare, other states are looking at it and studying the amazing Wisconsin Supreme Court decision, declaring ballot boxes illegal, all caps. And that decision includes the 2020 presidential election. As PolitiFact notes, in other words, he is claiming the decision is retroactive and, in his view, could somehow cancel the result. That's plainly nonsense. The ruling doesn't look backwards. Let's start with some basic facts. The drop boxes have been set aside, but anyways, the conclusion is no, you're full of malarkey, Trump. You're a pants-on-fire liar, but we all knew that about the man.
If we keep saying it, do you think some of these Republicans running for office now will eventually believe it? I mean, the J6 committee is chock full of Republican strategists, employees, and appointees. Republicans, all GOPers, right? They're the ones testifying, saying these things about Donald Trump. This isn't Bernie Sanders. This isn't AOC, right? These are other fellow Republicans. And we talked about this Hill piece today. Another bunch of 8 Republicans, a couple of whom have testified before J6. There is no there there. There never was. The whole thing was a plan by Trump to stay in power. That was it.
So let's review of Trump's prior claims about the state of Wisconsin. On September 29, 2020, Trump claimed ballots in Wisconsin are being dumped in the rivers or creeks. At the time, PolitiFact rated that claim false. Apparently, we weren't dumping our ballots in creeks.
Wait, false or pants on fire? You know what I mean? So there were some dumped in the creek? What are you talking about?
November 18th of 2020, Trump claimed, a day after the election, Biden received a dump of 143,379 votes at 3:42 a.m. in Wisconsin. When they learned he was losing badly, this is unbelievable. They rated that claim pants on fire. That'll make you more satisfied, Dom.
Thank you.
On December 2nd of 2020, Trump claimed, in Wisconsin, there are approximately 70,000 absentee ballots that do not have the matching ballot applications as required by law. PolitiFact rated that claim pants on fire. Another one made by Trump on December 2nd of 2020, Trump claimed in a speech that residents the Wisconsin Elections Commission suspected of moving were illegal voters. They just called that claim false. And June 25th of 2021, Trump claimed Republican leaders are working hard to cover up election corruption in Wisconsin. We rated this claim pants on fire, although I would take some nits and pick with the PolitiFact staffers there, because I do think Republicans are working hard to cover up election corruption, or at least corruption in Wisconsin. And on June 26, 2021, Trump claimed, in 2020, we won Wisconsin. They did rate that as a pants on fire down. One more Trump rating from the PolitiFact folks, August 12, 2021. Trump claimed, A Milwaukee election employee even acknowledged dropping off the margin of ballots needed for a Biden win at 3 a.m. That did not happen either. They also rated that pants on fire. So he's got about as good a record at the PolitiFact Wisconsin as he does in the federal courts trying to overturn the electoral results. Let's go to the phones. 844-967-2789. Joe from Madison. Welcome back, Joe. What do you got?
Hello, Joe.
I want to talk about the subject that you, Don, brought up in the first session. It was on the Intercept article that looked at the magic disappearing
Secret Service text from January 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
You know, they had a little phone replacement issue. You know, they didn't want to turn over their texts, so they replaced their phones.
Do you know how many that included? Did they say how many Secret Service agents suddenly had this magic, mysterious problem? Was it all of them who were working on that day?
This is still pretty new breaking news, Joe. So, no, we don't have flushed out information about how many different Secret Service agents were apparently, and we don't know for sure, but apparently deleting their text after they've been requested to preserve them. But I got to think that's at least got to be something that goes in your employment file, wouldn't you think, Tom?
Device replacement program, Joe.
If you are still employed, if you are a government employee that just magically deletes all these things on such an amazing coincidence of the 5th and 6th of January when all of this stuff is going on, and suddenly we cannot find the text.
Well, then I gotta wonder, Joe, if it's true, if they're claiming a device replacement program, like how does that work, right? Did they just go around and collect all the phones and give them a new phone? Who ordered the device replacement program, right? What were the circumstances of the device replacement program, and why did they do it after specifically getting notice that people wanted to, the government OIG wanted to preserve those records?
Yeah, isn't that kind of against the law? I mean, aren't you obstructing when you go ahead and delete things? I kind of, they're my old-fashioned, for heaven's sake.
That's such a quaint notion, Joe. That's so sweet.
Isn't it? So naive. That's so naive. Thank you, guys. Helpful as always.
All right, thank you, Joe. Appreciate you calling. Thank you for listening.
You know, Trump did this little interview with the New York Magazine. He was questioned about his daughter's testimony to the January 6th committee. And here's how Trump tried to explain it away. Well, I think she wanted to be nice and respectful. She's a very high-quality person, and I don't think she wanted to hurt anybody's feelings. Yes, that must be it. Come back, more devils.
I'm Peter Pekarsky, a U.S. Senate candidate approving this ad paid for by Pekarsky for Wisconsin, asking what kind of world do you want to leave to your children and grandchildren? A world where Ron Johnson uses his Senate vote to change the tax code so another $79 million stays with 3 of his rich campaign contributors instead of paying for Wisconsin schools and roads, or a world where Peter Pekarsky is a U.S. Senator working for all the people of Wisconsin. Tell us what you want at PekarskyForWisconsin.com.
When we built the Devil Radio World Headquarters in Madison, it was filled with construction dust. A real mess. I called Magnific Cleaning Services and they made it shine. A few days later, we moved in and created a whole new mess. Magnific Cleaning Services made it shine again. Now Magnific Cleaning Services is the only cleaners I trust with the keys to my company. They clean Devil Radio affordably and with great attention to detail. Find them online at magnificservice.com for a free estimate. Tell them Devil Radio sent you.
You are listening to WTTN 1580 AM Columbus, W224 EG Madison, always streaming on the Devil Radio app.
I'm Ed Donahue. Ivana Trump has died. The AP Sagar Magani has the story.
She was the first wife of Donald Trump, who announced her passing on
to bring up human rights. But my position on Khashoggi has been so clear. If anyone doesn't understand it in Saudi Arabia or anywhere else, then they haven't been around for a while.
Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has long denied any knowledge or involvement in Khashoggi's killing. A U.S. intelligence report Biden declassified after coming to office found the killing could not have happened without the prince knowing. Ivana Trump Former President Donald Trump's first wife is dead at 73. Trump posting on his social media app she died at her New York City home. Two people familiar with the matter told the Associated Press police are investigating whether she fell down the stairs, but they believe her death was accidental. She was the mother of Donald Trump Jr., Ivanka Trump, and Eric Trump. All those reported missing following flash flooding and mudslides in southwestern Virginia are safe.
Authorities say they have located all 44 people who had been unaccounted for following rains that flooded a remote corner of southwest Virginia. The rain tore homes from their foundations and left people scrambling to find loved ones in areas where phone service was knocked out. First responders began receiving reports of rising water and damage Tuesday night after a torrential rainstorm swamped the area. Residents say they were stunned by the dramatic flooding, which caused mudslides that blocked roads and knocked out power. I'm Mike Hempen.
Disgraced South Carolina attorney Alex Murdaugh has been charged with murder in connection with the mysterious 2021 deaths of his wife and son. Murdaugh is already jailed, facing dozens of other charges, from money laundering to stealing from clients to lying to police who say he tried to arrange his own death. This is AP News. An Ohio man is charged.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Stay informed with progressive news and talk on Double Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM. Waunakee's choice for essential radio.
This is Pat Slattery of Slattery's Automotive Service in Verona. Established in 1973, I've been servicing and repairing cars in the Madison community for nearly 50 years. You can trust me to tell you what your car really needs and fix it right the first time. Give me a call at 608-848-6123 to schedule an appointment today. Slattery's Automotive Service, your trusted choice for local service and repairs for all your automotive needs.
Listen to your favorite political talkers no matter where you are. 92.7 FM in Madison and Eastern Dane County, 1580 AM Columbus, north of Madison, and for daytime east-west commutes on I-94, 101 FM in the Shaw, and 540 AM covering eastern Wisconsin all day and covering the Milwaukee Metro, the Wild Counties, Racine, and Kenosha 24/7. Download the free Devil Radio app for your smartphone and take both stations with you everywhere. No excuses, just listen.
When you're having computer problems, you need a company you trust to get things working again, quickly and affordably. Madison Computer Works has been doing that for business and residential customers for decades. Our computer cure plans take away the hassle of being without your computer or needing to bring it in for repair. Starting at only $10 a month, our local and friendly techs provide remote help and can fix most problems in just minutes. Call 608-231-8000 and sign up today. Madison Computer Works, computers that work for you.
Devil Radio 92.7 FM, covering all the malarkey you can handle.
For Devil Radio 92.7 FM and WTTN 1580 AM, I'm Luke Mathers with your headlines. Wisconsin pharmacies are stocking up on emergency contraceptives and finding ways to make them more accessible and affordable in the wake of the U.S. Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade last month. Local pharmacies in Milwaukee and Madison have been increasing inventory after seeing a rise in demand since the overturning of Roe due to the 1849 law that outlaws nearly all abortions in the state. According to her campaign, former Lieutenant Governor and gubernatorial candidate Rebecca Clayfish raised over $3.6 million in the first half of 2022. Earlier this week, incumbent Governor Tony Evers' campaign announced he had raised more than $10 million over the same period of time. The Wisconsin Democracy Campaign released a report this week outlining donations recorded through campaign finance reports, showing Tim Michaels has donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to political insiders over the past decade, despite running his campaign as, quote, a political outsider. You're listening to Devil Radio.
Devil Radio programming is produced live in the Solidarity Realty Studios. Find them at solidarityrealty.com. Solidarity Realty. There is an alternative.
Warning, you are about to listen to the greatest radio show ever. And due to contractual obligations and to shield our airwaves and corporate licensees from any semblance of liability, responsibility, and gullibility, we must tell you the views represented on this show are not necessarily those of this station or its management. This radio show contains differing points of view on current political topics, and due to the nature of its contents, it should be heard by everyone. Thank you for listening. Now live from the Devil Radio Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, where the political party is just beginning. Welcome to the Devil's Advocate Show. Friends proving it's never personal, only politics.
Please allow me to introduce myself.
Here is your host, Mike Crute.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the Friday Eve happy hour. I know you're wishing it was the weekend, Dom, but we're almost there, man. We're getting there, and Thursdays are great. The weather here in the upper Midwest is glorious. The company's not half bad. I got Dom, I got Evan here in the world headquarters with me, lightly screening the calls at 844-967-2789. And Dom, hour two here. I wanted to talk about, sort of a post-Roe world and what that could mean to, let's say, Fox News. What's it mean to Fox News? And you might wonder, why would I care?
Why do you care about Fox News, Curdy?
Well, let me start with the source. Eric Wemple over at the Washington Post. Yes, Fox News, this is the post-Roe world you wanted. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to do a little Thursday reading and louding. See how the week's working on my brain.
It'd be warmed up by now, man.
You would think. June 24th was a happy day at Fox News. Roe v. Wade, the landmark 1973 Supreme Court decision codifying a right to abortion, had been overturned by the court's ruling in Dobbs v. Jackson Women's Health Organization. Pardon me. On his evening program, Fox host Jesse Waters took a victory lap, tinged with his trademark snark. Abortion is an emotional issue, and liberals are furious, and they want you to know that, said Waters, who also alleged that the Democrat politicians are scaring the heck out of them. A few weeks later, it was Waters who appeared scared. Roe's demise, which tossed abortion policy to the states, had been implicated in the story of a 10-year-old rape victim who was seeking an abortion. It was just the sort of scenario that abortion advocates had predicted. Could Fox News handle it? ? Nuh-uh. Details on the matter came from the Indianapolis Star, which reported on July 1st that a 10-year-old rape victim from Ohio had traveled to Indiana to get an abortion. Following the Supreme Court ruling in Dobbs, Ohio moved to ban abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy. The newspaper attributed the story to the Indianapolis obstetrician gynecologist Caitlin Bernard, who said she was contacted by a child abuse doctor in Ohio. The double victimization of the 10-year-old, who reportedly could have been impregnated at age 9, took the shoulders of a country that had lived for a half-century under Roe's protections. Imagine being that little girl President Biden said Friday, as he signed an executive order on reproductive rights and care. I'm serious, just imagine being that little girl. This was troubling stuff, so Waters got nervous. He said on Monday night that his show had decided to investigate this alleged child rape, and noted that Ohio authorities had launched a criminal investigation. This doesn't make any sense, said Waters, who made reference to a Post fact-checker column by Glenn Kessler that looked at sourcing and sourcing challenges for the Indianapolis Star report that had gone viral. though Waters held out the possibility the story was true, he made clear his leanings. So where do we stand? Is there a 10-year-old child abuser out there on the streets of Ohio? He needs to be brought to justice. And if the so-called doctors are covering up child rape, they need to be prosecuted. But if this horrific story isn't accurate, and the abortion doctor in the Indianapolis Star are misleading us, and the mainstream media and the President of the United States seizing on another hoax, then this is absolutely shameful and fits a pretty dangerous pattern of politically timed disinformation.
Another hoax? I'll jump in here, Curdy. Fox News Midday Roundtable show Outnumbered tossed out whatever restraint Waters had sewn into his report. Quote, "There's no shortage of 10-year-old rape victims," panel member Emily Campagno said on Tuesday's program. "There's victims from infants through the elderly, both genders. This is more than you can count. There are so many monsters out there. So for me, what I find so deeply offensive is that they had to make up a fake one. There's actually so many. There are countless real ones, and I would love for them to use advocacy for law and order." Later on Tuesday, Fox News primetime host Tucker Carlson said, "Why did the Biden administration, speaking of lying, just repeat a story about a 10-year-old child who got pregnant and they got an abortion or was not allowed to get an abortion when it turns out the story's not true? Question mark. You know, Curtis just asking questions." But there was no lie at all. The Columbus Dispatch reported on Wednesday that a Columbus man, 27-year-old Gerson Fuentes, had been charged with rape of a 10-year-old. The newspaper cited a police official as testifying that the girl had undergone a medical abortion on June 30th in Indianapolis. Ohio bans abortion after pregnancies reach 6 weeks, and the 10-year-old was 6 weeks and 3 days into her pregnancy when she was examined. How did Waters filter this development? By attacking Bernard, the abortion provider, at the center of the story. Carlson predictably pivoted to a detail in the Dispatch's story, namely that Fuentes is believed to be undocumented. Quote, "10-year-old rapist is an illegal immigrant," read the Chiron adorning Carlson's discussion of the case Wednesday night. There was no allegedly in the screen graphic to signal that Fuentes hadn't been convicted, a tendency that Carlson displayed years ago as he hyped high-profile rape charges against immigrants in Rockville, Maryland, charges that were later dropped. Another Fox News talking point emerged Wednesday night in Waters' monologue when he said the girl had not needed to flee to Indiana for the abortion. For that bit of commentary, Waters was relying on an interview that he had aired Monday night with Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost. Quote, "Ohio's heartbeat law has a medical emergency exception broader than just the life of the mother," Yost told Waters. "She, this young girl, if she exists, and if this horrible thing actually happened to her, breaks my heart to think about it, she did not have to leave Ohio to find treatment." Elizabeth Nash, Principal Policy Associate for State Issues with the Guttmacher Institute, a research organization that supports abortion rights, points out that the exception for medical emergency doesn't encompass the circumstances of the 10-year-old rape victim, kind of contradicting the AG there. The medical emergency exception doesn't include rape and incest, Nash told Eric Wempel's blog on Thursday. It just doesn't. It's really disingenuous for Yost to have made this comment. Disingenuous, yes, as well as condescending and paternalistic. Who are Yost and Waters to second-guess the decisions of a family regarding medical care for their 10-year-old daughter who had been raped? Their version of all this, Fox News, has been playing an extraordinary amount of defense on the story, first by doubting its veracity and then by deflecting to the real issue at play here. It's as if the network couldn't countenance the realities behind the sea change of legal policy for which it had long advocated. Perhaps it had budgeted a few weeks to celebrate the Dobbs decision and hadn't expected the ruling's grim impact to intrude so quickly. The panic of Waters, Carlson and Company suggests that they were more prone to ridicule rather than listen to warnings from pro-choice voices about the scenarios that would unfold in the absence of Roe. As much as they are panicked, it's all for political reasons more than caring about the patient, says Nash. As the Eric Wempel blog noted on Twitter, this national story pivots on the work of regional and local newspapers in red states, which is precisely where the nightmarish post-Roe stories will continue to emerge, which is to say, exposing the ramifications of the Supreme Court's decision will fall in large part to a hollowed-out sector of the American media. and Fox News will be there to throw cold water on the scoops that those overworked reporters churn out. The Washington Post, Eric Wemple, reporting.
You know, Dom, I had turned on Righty Whitey Talk Radio, and they did seem quite exuberant about the fact that the alleged perpetrator, the rapist, was an illegal alien. Because that fit the narrative. Well, I did say the alleged perpetrator was an illegal alien.
You said alleged. Okay, yes. So the alleged rapist was an alleged illegal alien, quote unquote.
Well, they didn't use any of the alleged. You know what I mean? They just said it was good news. They'd found the angle of the story that they could really appreciate. Well, of course, it was Joe Biden's open borders policy that left this girl, open to this rape. And this very Yost guy, Yost said, well, this rape never happened in the state of Ohio. And he's not the only one. Jim Jordan, the congressman, the guy that looked the other way, there was sort of a Sandusky problem at Ohio State University when Jim Jordan was a assistant wrestling coach there, allegedly. And Jordan allegedly looked the other way and allowed a lot of the sexual stuff to be perpetrated, despite the fact these were, let's just say well-known rumors on campus. And Jordan tweeted out that this 10-year-old girl didn't exist. And then he subsequently has deleted his tweet because it no longer fits the narrative, right?
But it's found and it's still out there. It still exists.
Well, Yost, the Attorney General of the state of Ohio, said effectively this girl doesn't exist and was sort of shocked when the charges were leveled, when they actually found the rapist and charged the man. But not to be outdone, the Attorney General of the state of Indiana, he wants to prosecute the abortion doctor who performed the medical abortion on the 10-year-old from Ohio. Not to be outdone. Let me just bring you the latest. We might have to carry this over, but Indiana AG eyes criminal prosecution of 10-year-old rape victim's abortion doc. Certainly, it's an intimidation tactic, according to the Director of Reproductive and Sexual Health at the National Health Law Program. But the Republican Attorney General, Todd Rokita, sort of like Nokita with a R, is going to go prosecute the abortion doctor for performing an abortion on a 10-year-old who was raped. So anyways, we'll get to that story next. This is...
Well, I just want to also point out...
Roe World.
Ohio AG Dave Yost. This horrible thing, quote unquote. Fox News Jesse Waters. A horrible story. Or I'm sorry, a horrific story. Well, what do you expect? What is your solution to these horrible stories and this horrific story, Republicans?
God's will, carry the baby to term. Put it up for adoption. Like terrible. The hundreds of thousands of children in foster care. Come back, more devils.
Shame. Shame.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
President Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election.
Collectively, Republicans got 1.661 million votes. 51,000 more votes than Trump got.
He exhausted his cases. He exhausted the court challenges.
All the Republicans voted for Trump the way they voted for the assembly candidacy. He would have won.
It was not rigged. It was not stolen. Donald Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election. It's really clear.
This message was paid for by the People for People Corporation. Donate online at p4ppc.org.
The Devil's Advocates.
Aaron Mostovsky, who rioted at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th, was dressed as Captain Caveman. QAnon shaman meets Law and Order.
Right. I mean, he pulled it off a whole lot better than Aaron Mostovsky.
Well, let me read a quote from the judge in this case. I hope you'll leave some of this fantasy world behind. Mostovsky was sentenced to 8 months in prison.
Looking at the guy, he might be one who loses his mattress on the first day. Breaking news.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
He's rounding first, second, third. He stopped between third and home. What the heck?
Ooh, that's not the time to stop. And now's not the time to stop wearing a mask. Vaccines are a game changer, but the game's not over. Mask up until you're vaccinated. Let's finish strong. For more information, please visit cdc.gov/masks. A message by CDC and the Ad Council.
Kicking ass and taking names since the Wisconsin Uprising, the Devil's Advocates.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show. You can follow us on Twitter at Devil Radio. Find us on the Facebooks at the Devil's Advocates radio. And of course, call us on the phones. Toll free talk or text. Hit us up 844-967-2789.
It had been going on 11 years. I guess it was time for our first Billy Joel song.
You're not a fan, Crudy?
I actually have Billy Joel in my, my Apple Music store. I listen to him sometimes.
Yeah, man, I like Billy Joel. He's all right. I saw him in concert here in Milwaukee when he came around last time. It was fun.
The Piano Man. But,
yeah, man.
Normally we lean towards the rock and roll.
Evan, come on.
I'm just letting you know the history here, Evan.
That's all right. So
Britney
we're
Spears,
open for new things. That's okay.
Britney Spears has been played more than Billy Joel. Let's talk about the Attorney General of Indiana in the case of this young rape victim for just a minute longer. Indiana Attorney General Todd Rokita, that's a Republican, is threatening criminal charges against the doctor who performed an abortion on a 10-year-old rape survivor from Ohio, a major escalation in the ongoing saga that has put the Midwestern state on the front lines of the post-Roe War. A new letter from Rokita to Republican Governor Eric Holcomb, dated Wednesday but released publicly on Thursday, asked for records from the Indiana Department of Health and the Department of Child Services to determine whether the physician, Caitlin Bernard of the Indiana University, filed the legally required reports within the 3-day window of performing the abortion. Did you get the paperwork in time? Let's prosecute. Really? That's going to be the charges. Compliance with the timing of the paperwork. Rokita alleges that the two state agencies have not adequately responded to his request to find out if Bernard has filed the appropriate records. So he doesn't even know the answer. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to make a big deal out of it.
Yes,
For all
he's
we know,
standing by to bring justice down.
If an investigation now underway determines that the report was not filed or not filed in time, the letter warrants, Bernard could face criminal prosecution and licensing repercussions. Holcomb's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. No one really did. Other medical workers in the state and the progressive legal advocates told Politico they don't believe Bernard broke any laws and say Rokita's actions are designed to scare providers and deter them from offering abortions even in circumstances where it is legal to do so. Certainly, it's an intimidation tactic, according to Fibolia Karian, the Director of Reproductive and Sexual Health at the National Health Law Program. It's currently legal in Indiana to offer abortions up to 22 weeks of pregnancy. And even if it wasn't, this is a life endangerment situation. A 10-year-old with a still developing body isn't capable of delivering a baby. This is going to have a chilling effect on providers who won't want to risk making that assessment themselves in the future. Healthcare providers are generally very risk averse. They have to pay a lot of money for liability insurance. And now they're being targeted by people who know far less than they do about complex medical situations. Now, Bernard did not immediately respond to requests for comment. She was the OBGYN. When Politico spoke to her the weeks leading up to the Supreme Court ruling, she talked about her plans to keep serving patients in Indiana. However, she could, no matter what restrictions her state imposed. It's scary to think about what the next phase is going to look like, she said in May. But I made a commitment to do this work, knowing full well that the criminalization of abortion could be a possibility. So I won't abandon it now for my own job security. This care will continue to be needed. Yes, it will, because there are monsters in this world. And 10-year-old little girls are impregnated and raped. And now, apparently under differing laws by differing states, seeing who could be the most harsh, let's prosecute, certainly the rapist. Perhaps the parents of the girl? Were they given proper notice of this girl's decision? That's also state law.
And that is so
what if the dad was the
offensive.
rapist?
What is so supremely offensive for the state and the Republicans who stand up and cheer and encourage the state to get involved? The big state, the force of government to get involved in a family's decision about how to deal with the consequence of their 9-year-old daughter surviving rape and being impregnated. They're going to stand up and say something about that they have a right to say something about that. That is what this problem is all about. And for the small government Republicans who claim that they're all about responsibility and limited government, they want to make you force your 10-year-old pregnant daughter to force a baby that would probably kill her. That's what they want to do. So of course this is terrible, and this is exactly what's to be expected. We knew this was coming down as soon as this got overturned. And if I could just briefly address the citizen status of the rapist, it is absolutely irrelevant. It does not matter. It could have been a citizen of the United States who raped and impregnated a 9-year-old. It could have been a citizen of another country who raped and impregnated a 9-year-old. It could have been an alien from outer frickin' space who raped and impregnated the 9-year-old. It is the parents and the 9-year-old's decision what to do in that case, not the state's.
In the state of Ohio, pardon me, let me make sure I got my states right. Indiana is begging the U.S. Supreme Court to help put an abortion ban into effect after the story about the Ohio rape survivor traveling there came out. Let's put our own abortion ban in place. We don't want 10-year-old rape survivors coming to our state and breaking God's will, apparently. Come back with us. We are the Devil's Advocate Radio Show. We'll take more of your phone calls today. 844-967-2789. And there might be some big breaking news later in this hour. I might break it. But you're going to have to stick around to find out for sure. Come back with us. More Devil's Advocates. Less Billy Joel.
I'm so glad you're listening to Devil Radio. It makes me so happy. Boo.
Dark Horse Art Bar is Madison's newest live music venue and art gallery on East Washington Avenue. Check out these upcoming events at the Dark Horse. Get your 10 seconds of fame at the Open Mic with Pinhead McFly. Open Mic is the second Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. Open Mic with Pinhead McFly at the Dark Horse. Dark Horse Art Bar and Gallery, 756 East Washington Avenue. Find them online at darkhorsemadison.com.
With the destination.
Hey, Darcy, I just saw the perfect house. Can you help me write an offer on it?
I'd be happy to, Brian. Did you see it at an open house?
No, I just called the sign and had the agent show it to me. I didn't want to bug you.
Right. How many times have you heard me say don't call the sign?
All of them?
You called the agent working for the seller, and once you see the property with that agent, I'm no longer free to write an offer on it.
So...
You need to hire us from the beginning, help you find the right home, negotiate on your behalf, and protect your interests all the way through the process, and it shouldn't cost you a dime.
Solidarity Realty. They're real, they're solid, and they're honest. Find them at Solidarity.
Trump is dead. I'm Tim McGuire with an AP News Minute. Ivana Trump, former President Donald Trump's first wife, has died. She was 73. Eric Trump was asked for a comment by a reporter after he left his mother's apartment building.
Any statements to make? It's been a very sad day, guys. Very sad day.
Two people familiar with the matter told the AP police are investigating whether she fell down the stairs and believe her death was accidental. The people say she was found unconscious near a staircase in the home. The Buffalo supermarket, where 10 black people were killed by a 21-year-old white gunman, will reopen its doors to the public tomorrow, 2 months after the attack. A moment of silence and prayer were held at Tops Friendly Market to honor the victims, employees, and community impacted by the May 14th mass shooting. The decision to reopen rather than relocate has been met with mixed emotions, but it was made because the store, which first opened in 2003, remains the only supermarket in the neighborhood. I'm Tim McGuire.
We tried Dynovite nutritional supplement, and after a couple of weeks, we noticed a big difference. Our little Gizmo's coat was shinier, and there was a lot less scratching and shedding.
My dog smelled and scratched constantly. We bathed and sprayed her, took her to the vet, but no results. Now, a little Dynovite in her food helps Bella keep her beautiful coat with no scratching or smell.
Happier, healthier with every bite. Over 1 million pets helped with Dynovite.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
From Up North News, I'm Pat Kreitlow. If you're angry about the repeal of Roe versus Wade and are ready to channel that anger into action, you're probably the target of a new ad campaign. It's seeking more people to become part of outreach groups that try to tell voters about the higher stakes in this November's elections. The State Elections Commission has 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats, so it's not a monster surprise that they couldn't agree on how to interpret the state Supreme Court's political decision to ban drop boxes. What it means is disabled voters for now are supposed to mail absentee ballots themselves rather than have anyone help them. And we'll have an update on the Wisconsin benefits of President Biden's infrastructure package after an administration official visited the state this week. All that and more in our daily newsletter. You can sign up at our website, upnorthnewswi.com.
The Devil's Advocates, rock and roll political commentary in a top 40 world.
Welcome back to the Devil's Advocates Radio Show, the Thursday edition. Dom, catching some hot breaking news. I knew it was going to break. I'd been interviewed earlier today. I always love it when I get a phone call like, "Hey, Crudy, I need a comment. I need something for the story." What story do you mean? In this case, I got a phone call from Bruce Murphy, and Bruce is a fine journalist in the state of Wisconsin, and there ain't a lot of them left. Bruce Murphy at the online urbanmilwaukee.com. And within the last 5 minutes, Bruce Murphy has dropped a headline here. I'm going to read it for the people. I'm being a little self-indulgent. Here for maybe to the end of the show. We'll see how it goes.
Are you gonna? Is Crudy gonna quote what Crudy said?
What? Why don't you quote what Bruce Murphy has to say in the headline?
All right. You want to start it off? I'll just do your part.
No. Just the headline's good for now.
All right. The headline from UrbanMilwaukee.com. Crute building statewide truth radio. Owner of liberal outlet in Madison envisions a network of 12 stations in 7 markets with factual news shows.
That sounds like fake news to me. No, that's absolutely true. I have been quite busy, and the team here at Devil Radio in the Shaw, they've been picking up the pieces. And you've been privy to some of my scheming. But it's been a lot of scheming. And there is a lot of scheming going on behalf of, let's say, the truth, and trying to disseminate the truth outstate. And here in the state of Wisconsin, it has become something of a truth desert. And what I mean by that, the investment in local journalism, it's fallen by the wayside. There's just not a lot of local journalism going on. And we've talked on this show many times. 81 right-wing talk radio stations, 235 hours a day of right-wing talk going out across the airwaves all across the state of Wisconsin in cumulative. Now, there are a lot of different, motherships. There's iHeartMedia, there's Midwest Family, there's all these different corporations, and they all have their own variations on Righty Whitey Talk Radio. But there really hasn't been a pushback, to my opinion. There hasn't been an adequate truth platform, let's call it. That's what Bruce Murphy calls it. I like how he characterizes it. So anyways, let's jump into this. I just asked Bruce. I said, Bruce, do me a favor. Every time you've ever written my name in print, it's Mike Crude, liberal talker. That's not how he characterizes me today, and I appreciate that. I like the first sentence. I haven't read much beyond that point, but I like the first sentence. Talk radio entrepreneur Mike Crude, who owns stations in Madison and Waukesha, has plans to create a statewide network of radio stations. And here's the quote. Crudy quoting Crudy through Bruce Murphy's writing. This is the important point, folks. By October, we should have 16 signals in 7 markets in the state. That's a lot of radio stations. 16 radio signals. Now, I would point out, a lot of them are paired, and I tried to explain that concept to my friend Bruce Murphy. Friendly journalist. We don't hang out and barbecue, but I would. If you invited me over, I'd bring some ribs or something. Some beer, at least. Anyways, I'll let Bruce Murphy tell the story. This may include a number of partner stations that have both an FM and an AM signal, but all told, it will cover most of the state. I've been saying most of the back of Russ Feingold's hand. That's what we're trying to cover. And while Crude got his start with Liberal Talk radio station in Madison and one in Milwaukee that failed, thanks for rubbing that in, Bruce, that's not the plan for this network, certainly not the failing part. In fact, some of the station he hopes to buy may include sports broadcast or even play country music. Guess what, Dom? I'm getting in the country music business. Did I tell you? That part is true. But in all cases, Crude plans to run broadcast of AP News, typically on the hour, with the goal of simply giving listeners accurate information.
So the Fox News top of the hour is gone. Yeah, AP.
The Associated Press, that's pretty straight down the middle. I think those that listen to Devil Radio and the Shaw also will realize we're going to run out state-level news broadcasts. We're going to produce our own news in addition to the Associated Press. But here's another Crudy quote, read by Crudy. I can tell you that Republicans own the airwaves in outstate Wisconsin, Crudy says, with conservative talk radio repeating the lie that the 2020 presidential election was stolen, and lots of Republican ads aired. The goal is to, again, a quote, I'm quoting Crudy here, the goal is to make sure there are no areas of the state that become news deserts. Crude, who is not wealthy, certainly I am not. Crude, who is not wealthy, now has a partner who is.
It ain't me.
It's not you, Dom?
No, man.
My partner's name is Sage Weil, a wealthy tech industry entrepreneur, according to my pal Bruce Murphy. A wealthy tech industry entrepreneur who is minority co-owner of W540 AM WAUK, the Waukesha station with full coverage of Milwaukee County, the Crude purchased in January. Technically, that closing just happened like a week ago. With that station as the start, the two have created a new company. This part's also very true. Civic Media, that is purchasing 2 more radio stations. Those have already been publicly announced through the FCC. And they include, let me make sure I got this right. In Wausau, you've heard of Wausau, sort of the gateway to the north. In Wausau, north central Wisconsin, and Richland Center. These are the first 2 announced deals that we can announce. These have been secured, and we've made public announcement with the FCC. We're going to have an AM in Wausau, 12:30 a.m., and we're going to have an FM in Wausau as well. They're going to be paired signals, if you will. And that's formerly an ESPN outlet. And we're going to do some high school football on the weekends, but we're going to do this format Monday through Fridays. Above and beyond that, the company is also acquiring Fruit Broadcasting's 1450 AM WRCO, that is in Richland Center, Wisconsin, and the partner country station 100.9 WRCO FM, which broadcasts out of Richland Center. I'm not going to tell you the numbers. If you really want to get up in our business, go read the article for yourself. But the prices we paid are listed here. And effectively what we're doing, Dom, and listeners, and Evan, and those that we haven't gotten around to telling yet, I've been trying to buy AM stations that are partnered with FM translators, as they're called, to make sure that no matter which side of the dial you're looking for coverage, you find us. And we're doing Main Street radio. We're going to do hometown radio. And we ain't close to done yet. A little bit more. A quote, again, I believe he's quoting Fruity here. No, this is from our website. If you haven't found us yet, civicmedia.us. Civic Media is building out a network of radio stations covering most of Wisconsin, with the first round of stations launching in August. Stay tuned. August 1.
Will be wild.
It will be wild. August 1, this plan is going into action. We are moving.
Oh, Crudy, I want to read the next one from Bruce Murphy at the Urban Milwaukee, because this strikes a little home to me, man. Crudy is also shopping for a station in the Fox Valley, northern Wisconsin, and other areas he would rather not disclose. I'll quote Crudy, I'm looking for stations that are intrinsically linked to their hometowns. If the station at least has high school sports coverage, we're looking to buy it. The Fox Valley, man. I grew up in the Fox Valley, and the Fox Valley is probably, the third largest metro after Madison?
Number two.
Number two?
The Fox Valley is the number 2 metro in the state of Wisconsin.
Wow. And so does that include Green Bay all the way down to Appleton? And
when you include the greater Fox Valley, it's over 600,000 people.
Right, so that's number 2. So that's fantastic. That's my backyard, man. Those are my peeps up there, Crudy. That's fantastic. They're swayable, man. They just need a little love, a little prodding.
And we'll bring beer. You got more, Dom?
Let's see. What else we got here? I've approached all the owners. Crudy said nobody had a for sale sign in their yard. You've been putting some miles on Crudy. You have been all over the state talking to all sorts of people trying to put this thing together.
Nights,
I know you've been
weekends,
working hard.
Days. You don't even know. I haven't even been prepping for the show for months.
Can you tell anybody?
Barely.
The end goal is to have coverage in the entire state, but this will not be a liberal talk radio network. Quote, we're not trying to cheerlead the Democratic Party or the left. We're just trying to claim the local community. I want to be the hometown radio. The Civic Media website describes what it will offer as hometown radio, local news, regional commentary. Another quote from the website, at Civic Media, we believe that radio has an important role to play in supporting the community with quality news and commentary. We focus on local, regional, and state issues and current events that are the most relevant to our listeners and combine news with open and honest commentary to advance listeners' understanding and engagement. The words liberal or progressive are not used. It's Kurt's vision that is driving the approach. He says Sage is not an ideologue, Kurt says. He believes in the truth. But Sage is a Democrat who tweeted, I'm so happy right now after Joe Biden's election. He has donated to Democratic politicians like Evers and Call and given nearly $1.5 million to the Wisconsin Democratic Party, the Transparency USA has reported. He is also very wealthy. Weil, how's it pronounced? Weil, 44, is a classic example of a young tech industry entrepreneur who became wealthy at a young age. As an undergraduate at Harvey Mudd College, he worked with 3 fellow students to build DreamHost, a Los Angeles-based web hosting provider and domain name register starting in 97. 97, that's a long time ago. About a decade later, He became the founder and chief architect of Ceph, a distributed storage platform, which he designed as part of his PhD research at the University of California, Santa Cruz. And in 2011, he co-founded InkTank, a professional services and support company for the open source Ceph file system. InkTank was purchased by Red Hat for $175 million in 2014, and Sage worked with that company until 2020. That's when he took a detour, Crudy, into social action as a story on Wheel,
man.
A story on While market research telecast recounts he participated in Vote America as part of the 2020 U.S. presidential election. This is a civil rights organization that helps Americans navigate the complicated U.S. electoral system with voter registration. This work, according to Weil, impressed him. Weil wants to repeat his commitment for the upcoming midterm elections in the USA. Basically, he sees himself in the future of the environment in which the issue of civil rights plays a major role, unquote. While he initially saw WAUK as a liberal talk radio station, Crute has modified the vision. He runs the show featuring Joe Clayfish, husband of Republican gubernatorial candidate.
I catch
Rebecca
a little help
Clayfish.
for that occasionally as well.
Yeah, I give it to you sometimes, and I did retweet some Rebecca. We'll get to that later. That's largely apolitical. You're talking about Joel's show about cooking and with a hunting theme. It's damn good radio. It plays well across the strait, Crute says. The station also carries the Up North podcast. Crute wants to develop regional shows like this that can run on other stations as well. The entire approach is so homey, it almost seems bland. Quote, we want to make it a focus for good governments and offer facts to counter untruths, said Crute, and offer some coverage of local news. You still need to get the county boards covered. But in an age of hate, disinformation, and the big lie, radio stations that serve the community and provide factual information might actually be a radical and refreshing change. Bruce Murphy, writing the best piece of the year over at urbanmilwaukee.com. Well done, Crudy and Sage.
And Sage, because Sage is the guy with the checkbook. I just got the gumption. But Sage is making it come true. And I've been out here for a decade. You know this, Tom. I've been saying we need people to make an investment. And Sage Weil has stepped up. So congratulations to him. And, let's face facts. That's where the money's coming from. But I got the gumption, Dom. And I got the microphone. And we got one more segment to take your phone calls. So come back with us. More Devils. It ain't the weekend yet. We're still working hard for you at 844-967-2789.
63 Americans a day die by gun suicide. By storing our guns safely, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo, we can give our loved ones a second chance at life. Learn more at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
If you love them enough to listen to them practice the same song on tuba,
please be done.
Over and over and over and over and over, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Sounds good, honey.
Check today at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates.
Today, I made a mental note. It was 1:09 Central Time when I found out Ron Johnson was a conspirator in a coup, a traitor to the Constitution, and Ron's been something of an apologist. They seem real friendly. Well, maybe to you, Ron, because you were on the inside of the coup, and I've never made that accusation prior to today. So let's play it for the people.
This staffer stated that Senator Johnson wished to hand-deliver to state electors' votes from Michigan and Wisconsin.
Follow the Devil's Advocates on Facebook and Twitter.
Hi folks, this is Kirk Bankstad at the Monaco Brewing Company, and I am proud to introduce you to Choice, our new pink grapefruit flavored hard seltzer. Choice was made in collaboration with Planned Parenthood of Wisconsin, and 5% of the proceeds from every can goes to support them and their fight for reproductive freedom. Choice hard seltzer tastes great and comes in at only 105 calories per can. Go to our website, MonacoBrewingCompany.com, to find where you can buy Choice hard seltzer.
If doctors, nurses, and grocery store clerks can wear a mask for 10 or 12-hour shifts, you can wear a mask for an hour or less when you go to the store. Do your part. Mask up, America.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
The Devil's Advocates know how to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and we're all out of bubblegum.
And we are back. Thank you for listening to the Devil's Advocates radio show, the last segment of the day. If you got something to say, hit us up right now at 844-967-2789.
Oh, let's go to the phones. Frank from Madison, you're next. Frank, welcome. What do you got for us?
Hey, Frank.
Hey, I just had a wild suggestion.
What's that, Frank?
With you buying up these additional radio stations, I think it would be great if you actually focused on like a real local journalist news section, for each one of these communities.
Well, that's certainly part of the endeavor, Frank. Part of the challenge will be to find a quality journalist who can provide local coverage. But the example that we are public with, Richland Center, for example, they have a news director on staff, and they are currently doing very localized news, and they provide it 3 times a day. They've got 3 live newscasts each day on their country station. And I don't mean like a 1-minute cast. I mean like a 30-minute, here's what's happened in Richland Center. So, Frank, as much as we can, we're absolutely going to embrace very local news within the broader context of the news and talk we're trying to deliver.
Yeah, exactly. They can hit the local stuff and then, tie that into the more state and national. But I think, they always say keep it local, start local and stuff like that. And I think that's a lot of what we're missing is there's not a lot of good local journalists that just want to report the facts,
Well, we can't leave it with just the facts. I'll tell you the facts, and then I'll tell you who to believe.
Give you my opinion on top of it. Like a little cherry.
Frank, appreciate you listening. The other thing that I am greatly encouraged by, some of these stations, again, using the example of Richland Center, because it is public, and I'm not breaking anyone's confidence by having this conversation on the radio. We got the Packers. We got the Brewers. We got the Badgers. Do you know how excited I am as a lefty talk radio guy? I mean, my whole life, Mike Crute, liberal talker.
Oh, come on, man! I mean, you
never had the benefit.
You were the sports guy, man.
I know,
Chris Berman, dude.
I know. I am a complete homer. I'm wearing my Packer hat today, right? To be a homer and to have those things in the stable, in the portfolio. Do you know how freaking excited I am to be offered Packer games and Badger games and Brewer games? Pretty excited.
I just hope the tickets come along with it.
And it won't, at least in the case of a couple of things. It will not be limited to just one market. So we're going to have a couple of Brewers markets, a couple of Badgers markets. We're going to have Northern League baseball, small Class A baseball in some markets. We're going to have like local sports in a lot of markets. That is a big part of what we're going to try to do. You don't have to love my politics, but if your kid plays on the high school football team, guess who's playing his game Friday night? 844-967-2789. More friends on the phones like PT from Milwaukee. How you doing, Paul?
Hey, PT.
Hey, all right. That's some good news, guys. Congratulations to Crute and Dom, and thank you, Sage. Yeah, that is really, really good news to be able to hear the message of the Devil Radio across the state is incredible. So congratulations, and that's fantastic.
We'll try to make you proud, Paul. And if we can't make you proud, we'll try to make you laugh.
All right. Well, you always do. You always do, which is great. All right. Talk to you later.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Thanks, Paul.
844-967-2789. A very patient Mark from the SAC. Mark, welcome back. What do you got for us?
Hey, Mark.
Hey, yeah, thanks, guys. And this is exciting because you're bringing radio back to the way it used to be, more local coverage. taking care of some local issues rather than this whole conglomeration of things. It's the same old across the country.
And if we can win a few hearts and minds along the way, Mark, all the better.
Yes, all the better, because people out in the hinterlands, don't get the liberal point of view a lot of times. I mean, I grew up in far northwest Wisconsin, where it tends still to be blue. That far northwest corner of the state, Bayfield, Ashland, Douglas counties. And thanks again for talking about that idiot attorney generals in Ohio and Indiana. I mean, and actually, how ignorant are these people? They don't understand that a 10-year-old girl's body cannot handle a pregnancy, at least not normally, without a lot of medical intervention, on her behalf throughout the pregnancy, and then at the end of the pregnancy, because her little pelvic girdle can't take the delivery of a child, through vaginally.
But Mark, it was never about science and best medical practices. Of course, it's about whose God you believe. 844-967-2789. Dick from Madison, welcome. What do you got for us, Dick?
Hey, Dick.
Well, CJ's listening. Gas is down again today. 383 at Woodman's. And I still don't care about Hunter Biden. But I got kind of the beat down this morning with Matt Flynn, bringing up the DOJ.
Bringing up a different show. You're about to get a beat down by the devil's advocates, man.
Well, okay. But it was about the PGA thing that they're investigating. And, that's fine. That's wonderful. But my whole point was that the optics of this are a little bad. I mean, we got a little bigger fish to fry than what the PGA and the Saudi Arabians are arguing over, don't you think? And, he pointed out, well, there's hundreds of attorneys, in the DOJ, if not thousands. And that's...
You lost me, Dick. Sorry, man. You're talking about a show I didn't listen to this morning. I was busy buying radio stations. 844-967-2789. I hope CJ was listening. How you doing, CJ?
Hey, CJ, gas is down. What's up, man?
Hey guys. Well, I guess congratulations, but I find it funny that you're not going to use the word liberal or progressive because it doesn't work. And you had a previous caller who was upset about the Secret Service, but it's okay for Hillary to destroy 30,000. And you guys try to tell...
Did she try to coup against the government of the United States? Because she's accused of deleting personal...
The 10-year-old that was raped, the governor wanted to prosecute the doctor for not reporting the rape. It wasn't about the abortion. So, guys, try to tell the whole story, not just the part of the story you guys love.
I don't think you understand this story, CJ. You're getting half the story. You turn on Fox News, you get like half the story. You get a very slanted version. Let's not forget, over on Fox News, CJ, they were denying this young girl existed. The story was too good to be true. How could it possibly happen like that?
It's so horrific, CJ. It's so horrific. It can't possibly be true. But, of course, it was. And my question to you and all the conservatives out there, what is so horrific about it? It's God's will, right?
For the rest of you, no matter where you live, at least here in the great state of Wisconsin, see you on the radio. If not tomorrow, soon. Have a great night. Thanks for listening, Devil's Advocates. We'll do it on Friday.
Hi, this is Brad from Zero Res. If you need someone to help with your carpet cleaning, business or residence, please give us a call. We have the best system of